is going to be a little bit different. My name's Gemma, and I'm going to tell you a little teeny bit of a story from my childhood experiences in convent boarding schools. And because they are sort of a strange establishment, I'm calling it Accidental Lessons from the Convent. And if I offend anybody along the way, we can take it to the streets after. So, accidental lesson number 1 is called God. Nothing like being slightly audacious. I am 8. It is my first night of a decade of nights in Irish and Scottish and English convent boarding schools. There are 12 of us newbies, standing by our beds, teddy under the arm, nightie on, all waiting for Sister Francis to come and read something holy and turn out the lights. And we've all heard and met Sister Francis briefly, and she is terrifying. Huge and Irish and very wordy. We're standing silently, trying not to snivel, and we hear her coming. Her rosary beads are banging against her legs as she marches down. And we hear her talking before she even gets to our dormitory. "Good evening, girls, are you ready? I'm coming." She like it was hide and seek or something, and we all stand even more straight. She appears. "And welcome now to St. Mary's Convent. You'll be with us for a long time, but this first year you'll be in the baby dormitory. So named lest you forget how insignificant you are in the eyes of Almighty Father, who died, who sent his only Son, who died on the cross for your sins." Well, we're about 1 minute in to Welcome to St. Mary's, and we've already dealt with sin and death. So I'm thinking we might get off lightly, but no, Sister Francis plows on. "But if you were to be able to be prayerful and obedient and not just pests, it may be that you'll find your way through, but to become putty in the hands of God and make amends for your sins. And fortunately for you, while you're under my care, mine are the hands of God." Lesson number 1, accidental lesson number 1, is when someone purports to love God, but their God is all judgment and sin and death. And you have a perfectly other God who's wonderful, who's kind and loving and forgiving. Definitely go with your God. Lesson number 2, accidental lesson number 2, is entitled Boiled Eggs, which will become apparent. One breakfast we appear to the dining room and are presented with boiled eggs. Each of us to our little places. We have an egg on an egg cup. It's cold, it's dark. At home, when my mother serves boiled eggs, the top's cut off and there's a little pat of butter and some salt and pepper and toast soldiers all lined up to be dunked and a nice cup of tea in a Bunnykins mug. But here in this cold and sort of gloomy dining room, nothing's happening. No one knows what to do with their boiled eggs. Sister Francis is parading up and down. At some point I think, well, I'm getting hungry, so I grab the nearest thing, which is a teaspoon, tap at the egg a little bit to try and make, some headway into whatever might be in there. And suddenly, out of the blue, a huge upside-the-head cough with the looming, booming tones with which you are now becoming familiar. "What an irritating noise! Who told you to do that to the egg? Does your mother know nothing?" I always like to dig at the mums. "This is no way. Give me a knife." I do. Get for my knife. And she demonstrates. She puts her pointer finger on the egg in the cup. Probably was a little lower. She takes the knife and from a distance, quite far, she delivers a superb decapitation to the egg. About half an inch down, perfect. And then she goes on, "So do that and stop the irritating noises. We'll all otherwise go to early confession for harbouring evil thoughts about your inconsiderate noises. So carry on. And if I see anybody tapping away at their eggs again, there'll be consequences. You'll be getting the thwacking rather than the egg. So, mind." So that was that. Then every other day, Sister Hilary supervises breakfast. Sister Hilary is English, prissy, and kind of petite. Sister Francis is vast and Irish and everything other than that. So they're quite different people. So Sister Hilary is mincing around on her breakfast morning, and I've decided, stupidly, to try the knife approach because we once again had boiled eggs. I had not practiced since the last demonstration. But I remembered it vaguely. I kind of gripped up here and took a knife and just like, it was ghastly. Yolk and bits of shell and bits of egg bespatter whoever's nearby. And I don't hear a cuff, which I was expecting, but I did hear a very Dolores Umbridge-esque sort of little chuckle. And I hear, what an inelegant way to enter an egg, child. Good heavens, it's bordering on barbaric. Stop, all of you, stop with the hitting of the egg. And not to be outdone by Sister Francis, Sister Hilary quickly does an egg, getting into the egg philosophy and protocols, which she is willing to share. She says, I will demonstrate. And she didn't ask me for my spoon because she couldn't demonstrate on my egg. It looked like, the trolls had munched it into the ground. But the girl next to me gave her egg, and Sister Hilary demonstrates. You know what's coming. You go. Tap, tap, tap. And you lift up your egg and you put the little bits underneath. Tap, tap, tap. Down you go. Nice and quiet. It is the only decent, civilized way to enter an egg. And if I see any of you taking a knife to an egg again, there will be consequences, so pay attention. Yes, Sister Hilary, we all say, and try getting on with our eggs. So, I have to say, I was a bit puzzled because I thought we've just yesterday or last week given allegiance to Sister Francis with the knife. Yes, Sister, we all said, with our knives. But we didn't know we had options. Now we've all said yes, Sister, to Sister Hilary. What's going to happen next time it's boiled eggs? What are we going to do? To tap or to thwack? It's kind of a conundrum. Which led to accidental lesson number 2. When two angry grown-ups fight each other by trying to control you, it's clearly not about you. It's about them. In which case, resist. We're 8, mind you, so resistance looks like thwacking for Sister Hilary and tapping for Sister Francis, which we dutifully do for the rest of the year to drive them both nuts. And we spent a lot of time laughing at them. So the last lesson, if you're all hanging in there, I'm calling Speak Up. So one evening, or in the evening, Sister Francis used to take us down to the night grotto. And this particular night it was very cold and we didn't have enough on, and I've been praying all day as far as you can make out. We're all marched down to this beautiful night grotto and circle around a huge statue of Our Lady. And we've done some singing and saying some more prayers. And Sister Francis says to no one in particular, do you not think now it would be good for the souls if we did another round of the rosary? Anyone here know how long that takes? It's a long time to say a lot of prayers. And I could see my friends kind of getting cold. I was freezing, and as usual, I couldn't resist to blurt out, no, sister, it's much too cold. Or, and this is her fate, she said this to me daily, and I kind of would egg for it. Well, aren't you the bold and brazen little hussy with all the opinions? Which I loved, and I find myself saying quietly, otherwise I get another cuff. Why, yes, sister, thank you. As we walked up to the convent, together, 2 by 2 and hand in hand, to be warm again, I celebrated my inner and outer little hussies. So the accidental lesson from that was that really all of us must take care of and let out for exercise frequently our own inner little hussies or hussers, for the because you never know when you'll need them, and you'll probably need them more than you know. So time passes, no more stories, just this little wrap up. Time passes, I grow older, I go to other schools, I finish school, believe it or not, and I get this urge to go and see Sister Francis, who I think is still on planet. So I drive up and I wonder what it would be like to see her. And suddenly there she comes. She's tiny. I grew. And of course she actually runs up to me, takes my hands. I said, Gemma, my goodness, now you've grown. It's so lovely to see you. How are you? How is your mother? How's your the usual family questions. I said, sister, they're wonderful. They're all doing really well, thank you. And she says, did I do right by you now? It's hard raising up the girls. And I said, sister, you did. I went to college. I'm happy. You did well, and I really appreciate you in my life. And I realized I meant it.